everybody, it's Abby from My Practically Imperfect Life. Welcome back for another video. For those who are new, welcome to my channel. I am a homeschooling mom of 2 high schoolers this year, and here on my channel I just share all things homeschooling and mom life with a particular focus on homeschooling through those older years. Today I thought I would take you through our homeschooling space and just show you around and how it is set up. To give you a little bit of background, we didn't always have this space to homeschool in. In fact, when we started, we took a little sitting room section that's off of my master bedroom, and we put all of the school desks in there and the school books, and my desk was in there, and it was just very crowded. And in fact, it was meant to be kind of my sewing and craft room space. So all of those things had to get shoved into storage. When I wanted to sew, I had to haul all of my sewing stuff out to the dining table to be able to do any kind of sewing. And it was just not very convenient for our family, but we made it work. And we did that for about 2 years before we said, well, we need to do something different. And we have a basement. It wasn't finished at the time, so that became our focus. We thought, well, we'll get the basement finished and we'll be able to use that as a homeschool space. And it took some time, and we did not do this all at once. We had to get the basement waterproofed. We had to put up drywall. We had to put in ceilings. And it's not been without its complications. It is in a basement, and we do live in the Midwest. And if you live in the Midwest and you have a basement, you know that sump pumps are a thing that you love and you hate. You love it because flooding does happen in our area. We live on kind of a low water table area, so water tends to come towards houses, and it loves basements. So the sump pump is a necessary thing, but when they fail, it is awful. And in fact, we did have a sump pump failure this summer. I had school all set up and ready to start, and then the sump pump failed, and we also found out that our backup battery was dead. So we had flooding into a portion of our basement. Fortunately, none of the school supplies were damaged, but we had to tear up a whole section of flooring, dry everything out, replace the sump pump, put everything back together, and that made me push out our start time by about a week and a half. So thank goodness for being able to be flexible and have the time to be able to take care of that. So fingers crossed we have no further issues in the basement going forward, but I am always obsessively checking our sump pump to make sure that that sucker just keeps working like it's supposed to. Anyways, if you are homeschooling, just know that you don't have to have a space that's dedicated like this. It's not necessary to make homeschooling happen. Homeschooling can be wherever you can do it. It can be your kitchen table. It can be on the couches in the living room, around a coffee table. You can have kids who are working in their rooms. Maybe you have a space that you could use, and that is great. I will say that I'm very blessed to have the space that we do. It is nice to be able to put all the things in one place, have them be in an area that feels comfortable and that we can hang out in and spread out in. But you know, it wasn't something that we always had, and we still made it work. So do what works for your family. And if you have to, like I said, homeschool around the kitchen table for a couple of years, and then maybe you can move to something else, that is awesome. But I wanted to just, share today and show you what it is that we have set up. And hopefully it'll give you some ideas on how we organize things. There are things in our homeschool room that have been more helpful than others, and that we hope to continue using as the kids finish up their high school years. So let's go ahead and we'll take you on down and show you what we have.
Okay, so here's just kind of a general overview of our homeschool space. I'm gonna have a couple areas that don't really pertain to homeschooling, so I will mostly kind of skip over those areas because we use our basement for our homeschool room. So we have a whole storage room over to the left there. We have my husband's office down here as well. But this is where the magic happens, as they say. So just a huge world map up on the wall this year. My son is doing a cultural geography class, so I thought that would be handy to have next door. Each of my kids has one of these desks we got from IKEA. I do not remember the name of the style. They're, all weird Swedish names. I can't say any of them. But I let them each pick out their own whiteboard that they wanted above it and just kind of customize the space. But the chairs I got from Target, 2 years ago now, and these desks we've had for quite a while. But I love these storage drawers. It's what, 10? Got these from IKEA, and The labels for the subjects are just something that I printed off of my Cricut. I update them each year if I need to. So like their name of their math class, their science class will change, what they're doing for history. And then I actually do need to make one more label for him. He's got his psychology in one of the drawers. But basically what I do is in each drawer, I keep everything that they need for that particular subject. So for example, for his writing and grammar, his student books are in there. The book he's reading to go along with his writing is in there. And it's just nice because everything is ready for them to get. So he's got his literature and things like that in there. And then in their desks themselves, they just keep their different school supplies. Because I do have 2 teenagers, and one of them's a 14-year-old boy, and he eats all the time. I had this extra mini fridge from a previous job, and so I just brought it down here, plugged it in. We keep drinks and things like that in there, and then I keep a couple of random snacks just kind of handy since we're down here so much. They can just grab something if they're hungry, saves a trip upstairs, and keeps the never-ending eater happy. And then my daughter's desk setup is very similar to my son's. Of course, she customized it a little bit more. But her classes, you can see, are marked on here. So her chemistry, algebra 2, US history, and so on. Similar to how his is, where, everything for her subjects are in her individual drawers. And then she keeps a diffuser down here. She likes to occasionally use that. And then kind of going down the wall, I'll kind of skip over that. We keep a TV down here. None of us actually watch it, but we have it down here. And then I have like these shelves on the wall, these just white long shelves. I like these because I can change out the pictures periodically without having to put a bunch of holes in the wall. So right now I just have a whole bunch of random kid pictures on there. So this portion of the room is kind of like our sitting area, but we love it because we have all of these spaces to just sit and read. So if the kids don't want to sit in their desk chairs, they can come over and sit in these chairs. I got this blue chair and its matching one off of Amazon, and they have just been oh gosh, they're so comfortable. I mean, and they've held up really well. It said on the website that these covers weren't washable, but I washed them and I didn't have any kind of an issue with it. And then if we come over here, I have this huge whiteboard. I got this was a steal. I got this at Hobby Lobby a few years ago. It was marked for like spring for whatever reason, and their spring stuff was on clearance for 75% off. So I think I got this huge whiteboard for like $25. It was such a deal. We used it more when they were younger. We don't use it for a lot of school things now. Right now it's just for me to keep notes. And then we have our US National Parks scratch off poster on there. We like to mark off when we get to visit a national park, and so the goal is eventually to see all of them. And then I just keep a couple of different things on here. These boxes on top store my greeting cards. I keep greeting cards on hand for a lot of different things. That way, if something comes up, I can just grab one and have it to go. This is one of 3 bookshelves down here. Well, I guess technically 4. But this one is where I originally put things that I thought were more school related. So I have a whole bunch of literature books. I have some beautiful copies of some classic literature. I got these from an old high school teacher of mine who was downsizing her library, and she offered it to anyone could come and just collect books. So I went with the kids, and oh, I love books. So I was a kid in a candy store. We left with so many books, but just the covers on some of these are gorgeous. I mean, it has like the gold leafing and things like that. Just beautiful books. And then at the bottom are other books that I've kind of collected, and I tried to organize them. So we have some books that are more science related, ones that were more geography, history down along the bottom. But we quickly have outgrown this space. So next to that are our boxes from Nature's Workshop. This is where we keep all of our kits for our different courses. Well, right now it's my son's biology course. But if you saw my video on curriculum, you'll know that I like these because it has all of the supplies for the different chapters all grouped together. We just pull them out as they need them. Another seat. This one was from Target, more decorative than functional, But occasionally when my desk chair gets uncomfortable, I will actually pull it up to my desk and sit in it. And when you have a long night of entering stuff into the computer, it is super cozy. This smaller bookshelf is just a Walmart one. Here's where I keep all of my teacher guides for everything. Extra paper, slides for science. We have a turn-in box up here. It's where the kids turn in their assignments, and then stuff that I've graded, I put it in the bottom shelf until I file it away. Normally our microscope lives here too, but it's currently upstairs because we just used it for a project. This bookshelf I had to purchase this year because I just needed more space. This is the Better Homes and Garden brand from Walmart. And I do like that brand of bookshelf better than their, what is it, the Mainstays is the other brand. They just seem a bit sturdier. And I needed sturdy because there's a lot of books on it. So the books on here are for the 2 courses we are doing from Guest Hollow. So my son is doing cultural geography and my daughter is doing botany. So I decided I was going to put all of the books that we were going to use over the course of the year on here, along with some supplies, just so I could pull out what they needed each week. So on top of it, I pull out the books that are used for this week's work. So my son this week is studying Greenland, the US, and Canada. And my daughter is, well, she's studying a couple different things, but potatoes are kind of the plant of focus this week. And then I had this chalkboard laying around, and I love doing random chalkboard drawings. So each week I just update this to kind of go along with what they're studying. So a little Canada thing for my son. And then I couldn't study potatoes and not put the quote from Samwise Gamgee: boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. You know what we're talking about, potatoes. So I just have some fun with it each week. I have a box of like the soft pastels, like the ones you would use for regular chalk art. And I just use those on this and they work great. And then down here is their collection of books for this year. So you can see there's a lot of just beautiful books that are going to be used for cultural geography this year. This is probably the one that I'm most excited for him to get to. North, How to Live Scandinavian. I just really want to read that. This book here, he read early on, From Here to Eternity. I'll tell you what, this was a really interesting read. Just very interesting. And then all of the books my daughter is using for her botany course. Lots of beautiful books. And then these 2 boxes here came from Walmart. These ones with the that are clear with the wood lids, and her chemistry experiment supplies are in there. She has a box, this is also from Walmart, that has her kind of project supplies. There were some kind of random things, especially for art projects and things like that, and some of the science experiments. So I went ahead and I purchased some of those ahead of time, and they're in there for him, for her. Same thing for my son. He has some things he'll use for projects there. I have a couple of extra maps. They just show different types of things. Let me see if I can get these opened up here. Apologize for the shadows. All the lights are overhead in the basement. So just different types of maps. And I like that they're laminated, so I don't have to worry about them getting damaged. We just kind of pull them out when we're talking about different things in his geography course, and then use them as needed. And then I just roll them up, clip them, store them on the shelf when we're done. Okay, on this half of the room, I found a really nice dining table and chair set. It's kind of an off-white, so it doesn't quite match the other whites in the room, but that's okay. It was a steal. Got it on Facebook Marketplace. So this is where we'll do our group work. So I have like our German set out, our Bible study stuff, our read out loud information. I keep my planners up here along with my checklist of what I need to do each day. We do usually have a candle going. This is my current favorite. I got this, I think, at Home Goods, and it just, oh, it smells so good. Not too sweet. I don't really like sweet candles, so it's got a nice natural scent, but we use this table all the time, and it's nice too. We do experiments over here and projects and things like that. Behind that is my space, and I have so much stuff going on. So this desk also came from IKEA. It is just the 2 sets of drawers here. I think what they called Alex drawers, and then it has the top on there. I have my EcoJet printer, so my Eco printer from Epson. Oh, best purchase ever. I got this last year in about April, but this half here is just a lot of really pretty storage boxes for different things to keep them out of sight and out of mind. I keep my cardstock and extra envelopes and stickers and things like that. Anything I'm going to print on there. My bullet journaling supplies are on the second to bottom shelf and then extra paper there. And mostly down here, I do keep supplies like regular office supplies, and then I keep all of my Bible journaling stuff in here. That's just another hobby that I have. So I have like 3 drawers of Bible journaling supplies. And then down here are my Bibles I actually journal in. My second bookshelf, boxes that have like receipts and stuff for scouting. I have all of my Bible studies sort of sorted by ones that I've completed and ones that I haven't. I've got keep books for gardening and my gardening journal in here. And then just another one of these shelves. So like I said, these I got off Amazon. They had a whole bunch of different lengths and different colors. I got 2 shorter ones and 2 longer ones. Again, I just like it so I don't have to put a bunch of holes in the wall. And I keep just different things clipped up top that I need to keep track of. All right. Last section of the room here, corner number 3, is our last bookshelf, and you can see it is full and overflowing, and we need another one. Some random storage over there because I need to reorganize our storage room so I can get that stuff in there. Just haven't been able to make that happen yet. But over here is where I more or less keep like all of the other books. They aren't things for a specific class. They aren't books for, that are necessarily just for school. Like all of my books, well, not all of my books, but most of my books I try to bring downstairs. And then my daughter's brought down books that no longer fit on the bookshelf in her room. Her bookshelf is overflowing, and I just have them alphabetical by title with some collections down there. And yes, that's the Twilight collection in the corner. I was obsessed when it came out, and I just can't bear to get rid of them. So don't judge me. And then just more on top. I have some art on top. I had a patient who I take care of who made that painting for me, and I love it. And then I have a brother who I just have to zoom in on this because I have a brother who is the most talented artist. He is amazing. He did this for me out of colored pencils. I mean, it's gorgeous. His work is just amazing. He got all of the artistic talent in the family. And then the boxes down below I use or the baskets down below. I think I got these off Amazon. I'll have to look. It was either Amazon or Walmart. But extra school supplies. I do have some books pulled aside that the kids are going to do for different novel studies through the year, just so they're, out of the way. This one normally holds my cinch, which is being borrowed at the moment, but my cinch is how I do the spiral binding. And then the last one, which you can't get to is right now, has got my laminator in it. And then I do have a tiered tray because I don't think you can, I feel like everybody who homeschools has a tiered tray at this point. Mine looks a little bit disorganized, but that's because it's mostly for storage of extra materials. It's not something I'm putting things on every day and pulling things off of every day. Most of the things we use for our daily group work stay on the table, but extras are up here. So our read out louds for this year are up here. Our next devotionals are stacked in there along with our Bible study programs from CPH. I have all of our German verb cards up here, extra pencils. Every pair of scissors has traveled down to here in the house. Just more extra German material. And then down at the bottom is actually a bunch of art material. We have, 4 or 5 different notebooks in there. Plus we have these. These I got originally. I have a set of these for my Bible journaling. These look like colored pencils. And you draw like it's a colored pencil, but then you go back over it with water and it basically will turn it into like a watercolor. And they look so cool on a page, and they were really neat for nature journaling because you could, kind of sketch in the field and then go back over it later and turn it into watercolor art. They're a little on the pricey side, but they last for a really long time. And for the quality of work it makes, I think it's worth it, especially if you have a middle school or high school student looking to get into art. And then we have just more of these extra books. And then I have the huge set of Arteza colored pencils, just standard colored pencils, mostly for my daughter because anytime there's any kind of drawing assignment, she kind of goes overboard and creates like a masterpiece. So I wanted her to have lots of different color options to use.
All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I will link as many things as possible down in the description box below for you. If this video was helpful to you, please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you can be notified when I post new homeschooling and mom life content. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day.